don't know. I can't even explain it. I can't even talk about Zohran Mamdani not being able to lift weights. Ben Shapiro is attacking
Mamdani apparently cannot lift like one of those shake weights. And we now have video of it, and it's pretty impressive. Because he has to have this guy. They're cheering him. He does not get 3. 2 very assisted. Very, very assisted. Bench presses at 135 pounds. If you're going to do something like this and you're a public figure, you have to know your limitations. If you don't know how much you can bench, this is not a great time to try it out. It's like in front of a giant.
Why? Who gives a shit? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Why is this a problem? Who gives a shit? Zohran has never presented himself as like this specimen that can like lift super high weights or whatever. If anything, it's more embarrassing when I see RFK Jr., who literally has made working out a important plank of his entire political identity, wear a goddamn lifting shirt and do half reps with like sub 135 pounds. Okay, that's infinitely more embarrassing than Zohran Mamdani being incapable of putting up 135 pounds. Okay. Zohran Mamdani is not like a lifter. I literally asked him if he works out, and he said he does not. Okay, I was shocked by this because he's very physically fit. The reason why he's very physically fit is because he walks a lot. Okay, he's a cardio boy. It's all good.
Crowd of people in the middle of a mayoral race. A decent bench for a man is his own body weight. Zohran Mamdani, I assume, weighs more than 135 pounds. 130.
I think Ben's saying that because he's like maximum 130 pounds, I guess, because that's not true. There's diminishing returns. And even if you're 130 pounds, like, no, benching your body weight is somewhat impressive. I would say it's past the point of like introductory. That's not like utilizing just your pectoral muscles to be able to lift your entire body is an impressive lift. Okay. That is an achievement. That's not something you just arrive at with ease, no matter how light you are. Now, of course, when you're short, like Ben is, and you're lighter, like Ben is, you do have some lifting advantages. This is true, right? That's why the memes are, someone who's like 5'6" can just like touch a weight and then immediately become brolic. It's like, lifting memes. It's like automatic steroids. Okay. But overall, this is just a dick slinging competition for incredibly, immensely insecure people. That's all this is.
35 pounds is not a lot of weight, like not a lot of weight at all. I'm not a bench press enthusiast. For the record, I max out at around 200 pounds. So I'm not like an amazing.
First of all, if Ben Shapiro actually could do a 200-pound PR, that's fairly impressive for his size. The fact that he's also saying that that's not that impressive is ridiculous. Okay. And I don't believe that at all. I need to see it to believe it. I do not believe it. Okay. I do not believe that at all. You just said something that I've been curious about. Is walking really a good way to burn calories? I walk my dogs about 3 miles every day when it's not 110 degrees in Fort Worth, but I don't know if I should be doing more cardio on those days. Yes, walking is the best way to lose weight if you want to lose weight. It's like it's low intensity. It's low intensity cardio. Also, let me tell you something. The fact that he said his PR is 200 is also oddly suspicious. In the longer video, he also talks about Zohran's weights, and he doesn't immediately clock that it's 135 pounds. Every person, every novice lifter that's been inside of a gym immediately knows 145-pound plate on one side and 145 plate on the other side is introductory. It's 135 pounds. Okay. At least for someone like myself who's been lifting for many, many years, that's like my warm up, right? It's not, if you have a lot of experience in this field, this is a warm up weight. Like, let's be real. Okay. That doesn't mean anything though, because for someone like myself, it might be a warm up, but for many others, it's, a fairly high amount of weight, and that is perfectly fine. Okay. But everybody knows instantly what 135 pounds is if they have worked out at all. Okay? How is 2 plates 135? Like, as in 1 plate on one side and 1 plate on the other. 2 plates also more commonly means 225 pounds, which is 245 plates on one side and 245 plates on the other. The bar itself is also 45 pounds. So that's what it is. An Olympic bar is 45 pounds, and the big plates that you have at that gym, in most gyms, is also 45 pounds. Okay? There's obviously 35-pound plates, there's 25-pound plates, there's 15-pound plates, and there's 10-pound plates and even 5-pound plates. There's bumper weights as well, the ones that you can use commonly for like Olympic lifts, like deadlifting and things of that nature. They're a little bit fatter in general. They're a little bit cushionier. But overall, the ones that they were using, I believe, in that video are just like regular straight steel plates, okay? And they were 45 pounds each, which means that he was putting up 2 45-pound plates and the bar that also is 45, which is 135 pounds. This is not even like ball knowledge. This is not elite level knowledge at all. I cannot explain this to you enough. If you don't know what this kind of stuff is, automatically, that means you haven't spent a lot of time in the gym weightlifting. And that's perfectly fine, okay? Everyone does something different, all right? 200 pounds as your max weight is a very weird number to arrive at. Either he did the calculation off of how many reps he can do and arrived at the 200-pound number, or he's just making it up, because it's a little suspicious. When you look at weights, like, you would probably not get to 200 pounds unless you are actively trying to reach a PR of 200 pounds by adding like 1.5 pounds on the sides, things of that nature. Because like I said, it's just normally it would probably be like 205, I suspect, or 225 or 215. It wouldn't just be like I know that those plates exist, chatter. I'm just saying it's not a very common weight that you would point to.
Amazing bench press connoisseur. Even I can lift 135 pounds, probably 15 times.
He can't. That's a lie. He's lying. That's cap. I think that's cap. I don't think he could do 15 for 135. It would be impressive for his size, I would say. There's 0% chance that he could do good form 15, 135. Okay? That probably is the load-bearing statement on this entire process. Okay? Very, very load-bearing. Probably, he says.
Because that's not a lot of weight.
Anyway, there was a couple things that he said in the longer video. Do we have the longer video from Benny Boy's content? Because I need to point to it. Maybe he's like actually only lifted weights in a Smith machine, not a Smith machine, in a like a bench press machine, which of course is much easier. Let's be real. Okay, this is where he got it from. Bench press. Oh yeah, he did the bench press weight calculator. He put in 15 times for 135, and he said your approximate 1 rep match bench press. I mean, he is more physically fit than you would expect. That doesn't mean that he is actually throwing up. I don't think he's throwing up 135 for 15. Proof he can lift.
How often are you hitting the gym right now? Got to be tough when you're super tired with the kiddies. I've still been hitting it every weekday. Weekends are very difficult because I'm really on top of the kids. But every weekday, I try to hit the gym for an hour with a trainer. So, that's how you get the gun show, guys. You think this stuff, just happens magically? Wrong. Okay, we are late for the gun show, so let me do that real fast because we're going to hit the end of this thing real fast here. And
yeah, that's also his biceps, which are important for stability and his triceps are certainly important for stability and putting up a decent amount of weight, but we need to see those pectoral muscles to make a decent assessment. In any case, I would love to see Ben do 15 times for 135. I think that would be impressive for his size. Having said that, I think not only is it utterly irrelevant whether he is capable of Zohran Mamdani's capabilities of being able to put up. Wait, hold on. Lifting. I can't find the OG video of Ben talking about. Oh, Zohran Mamdani can't.
Zohran
lift. Here we found.
Mamdani apparently cannot lift like one of those shake weights. And we now have video of it, and it's pretty impressive. Democrats are starting to retail the person who they think is their front runner for 2028, and all updates from Russia, Ukraine. First, we've been rolling out a lot of new content.
Okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, here.
And the 33-year-old socialist, again, he's 33, which is like young in the prime of life. He tried to bench. Now, my dude, let me just say.
My dude. If it's irrelevant, why do you keep talking about it? Because it's funny. Also, this is what the opposition is worried about. This is what they're predisposed with. I want to see Ben throw a 50-pound backpack and hike 16, 20 miles a day if we're just setting arbitrary standards with no practical relevance. Yeah. It's hilarious how Ben's fixating on this, but it's good for little tabloid drama clicks. It's not, though, because clearly it's not working. Look at him. 126,000 views. He is so cooked. Anyway, the reason why I get annoyed by this is, one, I mean, I lift, and it's an important part of my life, and I want other people to go out and work out as well. And also, I hate when Republicans basically just steal through the optics of claiming ownership over certain concepts to through the process of repetition, make it seem as though they have ownership over this space. They do not. Okay, they don't. It's utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things as it pertains to Zohran Mamdani's electoral victory potentially, which seems all but guaranteed. Okay. Having said that, however, the nefarious part about this is that right-wing content creators try to own this space when it does not correspond to reality. It's not the case that the right-wingers are objectively in better shape than liberals or leftists are. It's actually the opposite. Not that it fucking matters. I am a Republican, Hasan. Hell yeah. Well, you're going to learn today. That's why gym guys like you are useful for cardio boys like me. Yeah. If there's one subsect of American society that is genuinely in better shape than everybody else, it's homosexual men. Okay? That's it. That's why we say gay body is a totally separate classification. You can be swole, but being gay swole is very different. Okay? And they love voting for the Democrats. Why do you think this matters to the opposition? It goes back to the same thing that I was talking about, which is culture wars and aesthetics. Republicans love maintaining ownership over certain concepts like machismo, right? And they shape what machismo and being masculine is supposed to look like by simply saying certain things. So you don't actually have to be a secure person. You don't actually have to go to the gym. All you need to do is say you're a Republican, and then that comes along with it. Having someone like Ben Shapiro, who is a whiny little twerp, try to take ownership over the gym space is a hilarious example of this. Okay? Is Hasan gay swole? I wish. I wish, dude. I am not gay swole. I'm more frustrated with this concept than anything else. They try to take ownership over authenticity by substituting authenticity with being a asshole. And they succeed on that front on the internet. That's the reason why so many people think if someone is being kind to others or advocating to be kind to others, they're a pussy, they're a liar, they must be cynical, they must be grifting. No one would be nice. No one would dare be nice to one another, right? Ain't no way, right? The same goes for being macho, being masculine, being a man. If you're a right winger, that's all you need. Maybe that's why your back is. My back is not. I don't know why you're saying that. God damn, you turn 30 one time and then your back gets up for an extended period of time when you're trying to go through the motions of lifting again. And maybe you get a little ahead of yourself, and then everybody constantly brings that up. Oh, it's all posturing. There's a gym bro code. You don't make fun of someone who doesn't lift. Trying to live. Once you reach a level of experience, that rule change depending on the toxicity of the gym, but you never bully a newbie because there's always someone that can warm up with your PR. Exactly. That's it. That's the cardinal rule of being a gym guy. It's not my back, it's my rotator cuffs that are busted always. But every gym guy at a certain point was weak, okay? There's a starting point for everybody, and the goal is to get as many people in the gym as possible. That's what gym bros want.
Be a strong man, pun intended. Zohran Mamdani yesterday showed up at the annual Men's Day Open Streets event in Brooklyn on Saturday, where a bunch of dudes were lifting, apparently. And the 33-year-old socialist, again, he's 33, which is like young in the prime of life. He tried to bench. Now, my dude, let me just say that if you're going to do something like this and you're a public figure, you have to know your limitations. Like Zohran Mamdani must have at some point been in a gym. I mean, maybe not, given how this video went. But if you don't know how much you can bench, this is not a great time to try it out. It's like in front of a giant crowd of people in the middle of a mayoral race. So he shows up and he takes a couple of 45s, like 2 plates, and he stacks them on the bar. So this is maybe 135 pounds total. And now let's just be clear. A decent bench for a man is his own body weight. And that's like a decent bench for a man. Zohran Mamdani, I assume, weighs more than 135 pounds. Maybe not, but I assume that he does. 135 pounds is not a lot of weight, like not a lot of weight at all. Now, I'm not a bench press enthusiast. For the record, I max out at around 200 pounds. So I'm not like an amazing bench press connoisseur. Even I can lift 135 pounds probably 15 times because that's not a lot of weight. Zohran Mamdani, it doesn't go well. Here's how it went in Brooklyn.
Here's the thing. This is a mayoral race. It is not going to be determined by who can out bench press one another. It's going to be determined by how many people show up to vote for you. And if you look at those 2 different videos between Eric Adams and Zohran Mamdani, you can kind of get a better understanding of what's going on there. Eric Adams had nobody around him when he was lifting. Zohran had a ton of people around him when he was lifting, and everybody was cheering for him because they don't give a f. He can't put up 135 pounds. That's it at the end of the day, okay? This doesn't determine anything.
He has to have this guy.
Let's go.
They're cheering him.
Yeah. Let me get one more. Let me get 3. Let me get 3. Yeah.
He does not get 3. He gets 2.
He does not get 3. Bro, you're a loser, bro. You are a goddamn nerd. Shut the up. You look and sound like you need to be shoved into a goddamn locker, and you're over here being like, he couldn't get 135 pounds. I, on the other hand, am strong. It's like, come on, dude. Shut your bitch ass up. It's the same with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was talking shit too. It's like, okay, I can outlift both of you. Okay, shut the up. That doesn't mean anything. All right.
Very assisted. Very, very assisted. Bench presses at 135 pounds. So that's not great. Well, Mayor Eric Adams and ex-Governor Andrew Cuomo, both of whom left, pounced on the opportunity, according to the New York Post. Mayor Adams went to the same exact event, and then
like we need to stop with this shit, okay? Donald Trump can't lift anything. That's number one. Not that it fucking matters, okay? He can't do nothing. And also, you're a dweeb, bro. You are a goddamn nerd-ass loser. Who the put you in charge of making fun of motherfuckers who are trying to put a lift on for the first time in their lives, dude? Get the out of here. What are we talking about? How did this happen? Like, these people used to get bullied for behaving like this, okay? Not because they're nerds, mind you, because, like, even in that sense, like, Zohran will get bullied too, because he's not exactly like Mr. Macho Man Randy Savage either. But, like, if a nerd-ass loser like this was talking like this in public, they'd be like, shut the f***, what are you talking about? This should piss me off for many different reasons. One, because this is important for me. And two, because it's utterly irrelevant for an election. And last but not least, I hate that Republicans try to seize every opportunity they can to make it seem as though like they have any ownership over this space whatsoever. You got Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed, who I will be doing a lift with in Dearborn when I'm out there in Michigan this weekend. He's putting up 405 on the bench press, and we're still talking about who can outbench one another. Like, what are you talking about?
proceeded to just knock out a bunch of 135-pound lifts. He then called him Mom Scrawny, as opposed to Mom Donnie. Quote, the only thing he can lift is your taxes. Andrew, quote,
bitch.